were all kinds of different technical barriers with the early development of the eye gaze. Initially, in order for the camera to know where your eyes were looking, someone had to calibrate every time they wanted to use it, meaning they had to let their eyes follow a dot around the screen to the different corners. So the cameras could really figure out where you were looking. And if you broke eye contact with the screen for even a second, like just turned your head to the side, then you had to go back and recalibrate it all over again. So
Wow.
it wasn't a technology that was really very useful for children who are, very easily distracted by
Yeah.
just about anything, right? It required a great deal of concentration and effort, and it still does.
How old was Rob when he first learned how to use it?
So that was about, I think, 2008. So eight, one, two, three, so 11. And his use of it was like he could hit the targets, he could activate them. Um, but because he had to be pulled up to use it, calibrated every time, he would get bored with that. So we've gone through a lot of different iterations of these, and the cameras and the eye tracking and the software are just moving by leaps and bounds. Like every 3 to 5 years, there are huge advances with this. And
Wow.
initially, these were just for PC users, and our family became Apple users a long time ago because the whole like integrated system works for us on a
Hmm.
personal level, um, the closed system. But now Apple is starting to get into the game. So
Yeah, I was going to say Apple is huge into the eye technology, and so I can see
yeah,
them doing this.
hasn't quite caught up with some of the PC tablet people. Now there are
Yeah.
multiple vendors that offer different types of IES devices. But our family still has trouble because you have to make a variety of different compromises every single time you look into getting a new one. And now Medicaid pays for them, but they like to see you use them for 5 years. But unfortunately, the technology changes like every 3 years. So, you know, I don't know. And my son also has one of his eyes has a strabismus, meaning it wanders, which
Hmm.
makes it more difficult for the camera to accurately assess where he's looking and that kind of thing. So
You tried any kind of vision therapy?
yeah, we do have regular appointments with a neuro-ophthalmologist
Hmm.
who's been able to help us with some things. But Robert's had a bunch of medical problems over the last year, and when your child is seeing so many different specialists, you end up and they're having medical problems. You have to prioritize the specialties where
Yeah.
the direct problems are. So we got to get caught up again with a neuro-ophthalmologist.
Yeah. I actually, with my medical condition, I was born with two dislocated lenses, or they
Mm-hmm.
dislocated actually at age 3, which is how I was actually diagnosed. And because it looks so much like Marfan syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
but except the lenses dislocate just the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's commonly misdiagnosed as Marfan syndrome. And when um, I was told only this is after I had the surgery to remove my right lens. They said, don't use your left eye.
Okay.
They wanted me to become they wanted me only to use the right eye because if I used both eyes together, it
Mm-hmm.
would cause double vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I got to the point where I was testing that, like, because I test pretty much everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you have something rare and that nobody else has, you tend to test things
Mm-hmm.
because you don't believe what any doctor says because
Mm-hmm.
nobody takes the time to look it up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know.
and so I was able to use both eyes together, but they were right. It does cause double vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to quit using it and give up the program, but
Well,
you can get that back.
let me tell you one thing. Almost every eye gaze system that's been developed for communication use within the last 5 or 6 years has a setting that allows you to use one eye or the other eye or both.
Oh, wow.
And the cameras are now getting so sophisticated. Initially that was like if you couldn't use both eyes together, picking one eye could be kind of hard. There are downsides to that as well. but the cameras are getting to be so good that I've actually started looking at some manufacturers right now where the camera is developed to just track one eye anyway.
Yeah.
And it does it as well as if you could use both eyes.
Yeah. Now my left eye's taken over, and so because when with this condition, if one eye fails, the other one takes over, and so the eye that I'm not used to using and haven't used all my life is the one I now have to use.
Yeah.